Welcome to Unapologetic Transmissions. This is a space for raw truth, real patterns, honest reflection, and remembering that your life already belongs to you. I'm not here to fix you, save you, or become the authority over your life, because you were never meant to hand your power away to another person. You are the authority in your life, always. These transmissions are simply me sharing what I've lived, what I'm noticing, what my life has taught me, and the patterns that I see playing out inside humanity and inside myself each and every day. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and trust yourself deeply. And remember, you get to choose your life again and again and again, as many times as it takes to make it the most epic love story ever to be created. Let's dive in. Welcome back, friends, to the village of unapologetic living. I'm Sarah, and normally I don't share my face on this channel for a reason. Because my viewpoint is that if I share my face, it gives people something to look at. And if they like what I say and they recognize themselves in it, they then attach that to my face. My belief is that I want this channel to take those attachments and place them upon you, place them upon your own viewpoints, hearing your own truth, your own story, becoming your own authority in your life, which is what I was missing for so long. But today's video is different. Today's video, I'm showing up authentically with my face, because generally these videos come from things that I experience in my life. Excuse me. They come from interactions with the world around me. And I asked a question last night because that's how I interact with my world. I asked of my highest self, the God within, spirit, source, universe, whatever name you want to call it, the energy that flows through and within all of us. I put the question out there as to, should this channel remain faceless? Because I wasn't sure. Like, I stand pretty strong behind it, and I still think a majority of videos will stay faceless for that reason. But today's, I can't do faceless, which gives me an answer, right? Because you have to see the outfit that I'm wearing to be able to understand the depths of what this pattern, how deep this pattern lies, and how loud it is, and how, I'm not gonna lie, how pissed off it makes me every time I see it. And I used to just brush it off because it is what it is. People are who they are. And I still, I focus on the positive, and I know people are who they are. But this channel I made to call out those patterns with love, but also kindness, which doesn't always look like being nice, you know? I'm going to ruffle a few feathers with this one, I'm sure. When I got dressed this morning, I knew it was going to be warm, and I had a really hard time choosing what I was going to wear. And I don't normally, but it's because I kept coming back to this dress. You know, I got this dress last year when I went on a trip with my husband, He took me up to Mackinac to see the bridge and scaringly took me across it, which I never want to do again, ever in my life. But we had the best time. And I saw this dress, and it was so beautiful. And I ended up getting it and was like, this is going to be a part of my new identity. Like, I love this dress. I put it on the way home, and we did a fun little photo shoot on the beach. That's the last time I wore it. Granted, that was at the end of last summer, and it got cold, so I put it away. But I just haven't worn it because I knew I was uncomfortable, because it shows my shoulders, and I've had 3 kiddos physically from my body, which changes things about my body. And I've never worn something like this because the voices in my head have told me that I wasn't pretty enough to, that it wouldn't look good on me, which I know are all a crock of shit. Like, but also they're the voices that I heard from the adults around me as I was growing up, not always at me, but about themselves looking in the mirror. I remember women in my life wearing men's clothes because they want to hide their bodies. Because if you hide your body, you're not as much of a target. Like, how sad. And I get it. I truly do. But just because I get it doesn't mean that I want to live there. Like, I don't want to live that life anymore. And so I got dressed and decided I'm wearing the dress because something happened in our lives over the last week to just remind you yet again that it can be over in an instant. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. The only thing that's guaranteed is right now, right here. And what if I got this dress and I never got to wear it? So I said, fuck it. I'm wearing the dress. I'm putting it on, and I'm wearing the damn dress. And put my hair up in this little curl thing, or like clip thing, which I never do. I don't ever wear my hair like this, but I was like, oh, this matches. This looks nice. And I looked at myself in the mirror and was like, yes, I can wear this today. I'm not fully comfortable, but I'm going to become comfortable because I get to wear the dress. I get to be comfortable. I get to feel beautiful in anything that I want to. And I did all day. And then my husband and I get in the car to go pick up our youngest. And then we stop at the gas station. And I walk in, and there's a friendly face, someone who I respect. And I adore. Like, I adore this human. And the first thing that comes out of this person's mouth is that they went to the beach yesterday and that there should be a standard. There should be, a law or something for what people should wear and can wear at the beach. And of course, they're talking about bigger size women and how they should cover up and have respect for their bodies. And I saw red. because my heart hurts so much for comments like that. And all, like, I was kind of dumbfounded because it just came out of nowhere. Like, there was no reason for that comment to come out. But I asked the question last night, should my channel stay faceless? And then I wear this beautiful dress that I love. And then I see a pattern. I'm face to face with one that makes me need to have to show my face and my body. And it's like, okay, I hear you. And, I stopped this individual and said, why does it matter what somebody wears? Like, why are you sitting here judging them? And they continued on with their thought process and how it's just showing respect for yourself and all these things. And I'm like, okay. And he said, you do realize that I almost didn't wear this dress today because of that rhetoric, that viewpoint, those comments that I've heard my entire life. And they go, well, I'm not talking about you. I said, it doesn't matter. You're talking about women who I identify as. I identify as a woman. And if you're going to talk smack about women, I'm going to then have that in my head as this is what people say about women. I said, my 10-year-old daughter, we had a hell of a time finding a swimsuit for her this year because she is so anxious and worried about her body because it doesn't look like other girls'. Doesn't look how she wants it to. And in your mind, she's pudgier. So she should cover up and have respect for herself. Well, I have a better, I'm not meaning children. I said it doesn't matter because what you talk about for grown women, the young women are listening. So are the young boys. So are the young, whatever they identify as. And then you sit here and wonder why people are growing up and they judge themselves, they hate themselves, they think that they can't wear anything because they think they're ugly, they think that there's nothing good about them. Because of these comments, all of us small children grew up hearing. Talked about other people or talked about their own bodies as they're looking in the mirror. And like this individual dug their heels in, talking about how the past was so much better and if it was only like the 80s, and all I could think is like, yeah, that's when you think life is better. But if I went back to the 80s, it certainly wouldn't have been better for me as a woman. And nobody gets it. The past doesn't exist. It only exists in your head. And I know that's so silly as I'm sitting here and I had to fight the thoughts in my head about wearing this dress because of a past that doesn't exist. But what I am standing for is seeing those things and bringing love and light to them. Now, this human, I'm not going to shame, I'm not going to judge, and I'm not going to sit here and say that they're not a safe human for me because they are. I know that they love deeply. But they're stuck in a past and living a life now that they aren't happy with because they're hoping for a past that's not here. That's their life. That's their choice. And I'm grateful that they made the comment. I'm grateful because here I am sitting and sharing this on my channel in hopes that any human who needs this message, who needs this reminder, the voices in your head, first off, are not accurate. If they are shaming you, judging you, or telling you to harm yourself, they're not you. They are, I like to call them with my children, little earworms that were placed there from other people. Because your own inner voice would never. Your own inner voice is going to love you unconditionally. Is going to be your biggest cheerleader. It's going to be the one that looks in the mirror and says, well, somebody decided to hang something downstairs, clearly. Life. But as I was saying, the earworms are not you. Your actual inner truth, your inner voice is going to be your biggest supporter. They're going to love you unconditionally. When you're looking in the mirror, they're going to be the one that's saying, like, you look fucking good. Even if you're in some sweatpants and a fucking wrinkled shirt, like, whatever. Because what we put on this body doesn't fucking matter. It just doesn't. We make it matter way too damn much. What's funny is, I decide I'm wearing this today and I'm going to rock it out. And then I also put my clothes away as I was doing so. And I remembered a story from my childhood. One of my sisters got me this outfit when I was 16. And it was my favorite outfit because I just felt so good in it. And I had that one and I had one other one. I had one shirt that I had bought that I loved. And those are the only things she happened to see me in because I chose to wear those on the weekends. Or I would wear them once throughout the week for school. And then that's what I wore on the weekend after I washed them. And she hated it. Excuse me. I got energy moving, clearly. She hated it because she's like, do you not have any other clothes? Like, all I see you in is those. And I remember she told me she was going to burn the shirt one day. And it kind of it pissed me off. But also I was like, this is the only clothes I have. I have 2 outfits that I like that are me. And she understood that story because she had the same story because our mother, she didn't understand and didn't care about how she dressed. She didn't dress like we did, and she didn't have to. Like, that was her choice. She had a different style than we did. But I wanted certain things, and I had to buy those certain things. And when I liked something, I wore it a lot. There's nothing wrong with that. You're getting your use out of it, right? In some people's heads, that's wrong. Because some people think that you should have enough clothes to wear a different thing, like once a month, I guess. And the older I get, the more I'm realizing, like, I have all these clothes that I only gravitate to probably about 10 outfits that are my favorites. And then I have some that are there, so they're for like fancier functions, so I have things to wear for those or for weddings or whatever. It's like I have these clothes that I'm never going to wear because I don't like them. They're not comfortable. And it's just wild to me that we've put so much pressure on ourselves because of what other people or because the earworms inside have said that we need to look a certain way or show up a certain way to be accepted. So much so that I wouldn't wear this dress that I love. Like, I feel like a pixie fairy in it. And it's so comfortable and so flowy. And I love it. But I didn't wear it because I was afraid of what other people outside of me was going to say or what they thought. It's like those aren't things that we can get someone else to fix for us. We just can't. Those are things we have to choose to change for ourselves. Because no amount of my husband telling me I look amazing in this dress was going to make me wear the dress if I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't believe it. He can't make me believe something that I have already chosen not to believe about myself. And that's the deeper lesson in this pattern, right? Because those things are there from when I was a kid. Now, I'm not putting a bunch of blame or shame or any of that on the people from my childhood. I'm just calling it like I see it because I believe in accountability. And I don't believe accountability comes with shame and guilt and judgment. It never should have. So then we're not sitting here not holding ourselves accountable because we're afraid of the shame and the guilt and the judgment. None of that matters. The accountability does. And I hold myself accountable when it comes to my own kids' lives, when they come to me and say that something I said harmed them. I won't tell them they're wrong. I'm going to listen to their perspective and hold space for it because their truth matters. Whether it's true for me or not doesn't matter. Now, I'm not going to apologize, which is why this is the channel of the Village of Unapologetic Living, because we don't apologize in my home. We acknowledge, hold ourselves accountable, and move forward. And that looks different every single time because the repair is what's necessary, not the apology. Especially since there are times that people want an apology for something that is me that harmed them. Like me stating that my childhood, there were moments that I was taught one thing, but yet I witnessed something different. And yet, because that's what I witnessed, that's what I saw, I'm wrong because that's not how it was. Like, no, my truth and the other people's truth from my past both coexist. They both matter. There is no right and wrong here. There's no one truth and a lie. There's my truth and their truth. And truth is different for everybody. I remember back to my childhood, I thought that I was fat. I weighed 110 pounds my senior year until I got pregnant. But I weighed 110 pounds. Thought my thighs were massive. I thought I was just, I thought I was ginormous. But I wasn't. I wore a size 3 and was 110 pounds. But everywhere I looked, people talked about how fat they were, how big they were, how much they weighed. It was always about weight. And I didn't look like the popular girls. So I figured, well, it's because I'm fat, right? Everyone else says they're fat, so I'm fat. I chose to feel that way. I'm not saying anyone told me I had to, but I chose to feel that way. And now when I look back on that, all I can think is how silly that was, because damn, I was skinny as fuck, and I will never be that skinny again. But here I am, 38 years old, loving the hell out of my body. And I love the hell out of my body now because I taught myself to, because I chose to. Because this body has birthed 3 kiddos into this world. And not just because of that, but those are some of my most cherished memories. And I have some scars and some things that show that. And I'm proud of them. But also, this is my body. This is my vessel. This is my ability to be alive. And I refuse to judge it anymore. But yet, there's still little whispers, little earworms that that I end up finding throughout my journey. One of them being, I can't wear that because nice, good girls don't wear those things. You know, if I would have worn this as a child, I remember my great aunt. I tried to wear some things like this and she called me a whore. You know, whores wear those things. Nice, good girls, they cover up. I didn't wear a bikini my entire life because good girls didn't show their bodies. So therefore, you can't wear a bikini, even though that's appropriate. And it's like, no. There was a day that we wore freaking loincloths. There was a time when we didn't even cover up because a body is just that. It's a body. And I refuse to sit here and judge somebody else's. And I think that's why I got so pissed at first, because there's a passion behind that, right? It's my fire lighting up for all humans of we have to stop having one fucking standard for what is beautiful, for what is acceptable. Fuck that. Because what is acceptable, really? You don't have to agree. I'm not saying agreeance. You don't have to agree that this person's body over here is beautiful, but you can accept that they feel beautiful. And why would you want to knock them down a peg and make them feel otherwise? Because that says a hell of a lot more about you than it does them. And all I can think is whoever that woman was that was on the beach, go you. Love the hell out of your body because you deserve to. Not everyone will, but you get to. And the people that matter will stick around. And the ones that stick around then, those are true people, not ones that you have to sacrifice who you are to keep around. And that's the essence of this channel. That is the essence of unapologetic living, is fuck other people's shit. And not in a mean way. In the most loving way possible. Which is, you are responsible for yours. I'm responsible for mine. And I get to love my body. I get to love who I am. I get to live this life. And I get to find the beauty. And I get to look at the patterns and call them out so that we can change things for the future for our kids. That's my story. And other people get to feel uncomfortable with that. They get to say, that I'm wrong. They get to be upset that I'm calling out patterns that make them uncomfortable. Because every person's perspective gets to sit at the table of life. There's no one table that fits all, other than the table of we're alive right here, right now. Having this energy that flows within all of us. That is the only one truth that I can settle on. And however that energy came to be, whether it was God, whether it was the universe, source, doesn't fucking matter to me. Never has. What matters to me is that there is a trust and acceptance of that life force. And I'm going to use mine for good. I'm going to use mine to live my life to the fullest, to live this life with my family, with my husband, with my kids. And I'm going to choose to enjoy every fucking second of it. And I'm going to use it to call out the hypocrisies with love. Because I'm not going to go to that human and make them wrong, because they're not. They're right for them. But I was angry for a reason. I was angry, so I would use that energy to come to the channel, make a video, show my outfit, and call out the patterns of how you talk to yourself in the mirror is what your children are going to say about themselves later. And what you say about other adults, your children are listening. And this pattern doesn't just talk about bodies. It talks about ways of life too. And I've heard this many times over the past several weeks about bullying is at its highest and the unalived rates are rising because nobody wants to talk about their feelings and their emotions, and mental health isn't easy sometimes. Well, this is one pattern that we have the power to change without forcing other people to do a fucking thing, which is what I don't believe in. I don't believe that we should be able to force anyone else to do something. I believe that takes away our rights as humans. Everyone has choice. And what you do with that choice is yours. And in any experience, even if you don't have choice in how it happened, you have choice in how you feel about it. Whether it happens for you or if it happens to you. Now, do I think that I can go out and control a bunch of people and humans and adults to do something I want them to do? No, I don't. But yet there are a lot of adults who say a lot of unkind things about my children because of their ways of life. And they get to. They get to have their own opinions, even if I don't agree with them. I believe in that right. Do I believe that you should be able to do harm to my family because you don't agree? No, I do not. And I don't believe that would happen unless it's an extreme experience. So what I teach my children is that not everyone will agree with their life. Not everyone is going to agree with what they choose to do. But what they need is to accept themselves and trust that the right people will accept them too. To allow acceptance to flow from them and not fight others to try to make others agree with them. Because that's not what this is about. It's not about getting everyone to agree with one way of life. It's about acceptance of letting us all have the ability to choose. that I can choose to wear this dress and it not mean that I'm some fucking slut or a whore, or that I'm trying to get a man, because newsflash, got one. I don't need one. And I'm wearing the dress because I feel fucking amazing in it. And that's what happens when I choose an outfit. I'm choosing it for me. Now, if someone else has a different way of life and they are choosing to find a man, there's nothing wrong with that either. Go you. I mean, did I used to back in the day? For sure. I just don't need to anymore. Now I dress for me. And I wish I would have known that as a kid. It could have been a lot easier. But how we talk about the people around us, our children are listening. And then they go to school and they say those things to the children they see that live that way. Or even if they don't live that way, they just say them to them. Like my 10-year-old who I had to pull out of school because she cut her hair with me last year when we shaved our heads with my sister who had breast cancer. And she went back to school in the fall. And kids told her she couldn't go into the girls' bathroom because she was a boy. And she's not. But now she's sitting here struggling with her identity because a bunch of kids said something to her. Because that's what we see in the world right now, is a whole bunch of adults fighting over who's right and who's fucking wrong, when none of us are an all-seeing right and wrong except for our own lives. We're never going to have an all-around truth, and fighting it, making one person or one whole side win, makes us all fucking lose. And I'm sitting here right now saying, I'm not fighting. I'm done. I'm going to live my life fully, freely, and unapologetically as fuck. And I'm going to make my life beautiful. I'm going to wear what brings me joy. I'm going to teach my children to wear what brings them joy. I'm going to teach them that when other people say things about them, it doesn't mean anything about who they are unless they choose to let it. I'm going to remind them every single fucking day they have the power of choice. Always. And nobody can take that away from them unless they let it. And that's what this channel is about. These patterns, these things in life, the hypocrisies that I see. Because I know that we're all just out here doing our best, and we don't need a whole lot more fucking blame and judgment and shame. We need more acceptance to let us all love life the way we see fit. And I know it's hard because there's a whole lot of adults out there who have sacrificed their lives for their loved ones, and they don't even know who they are anymore. And I get it, because that's what I had to fight myself back from. And I'm still reminding myself every day of who the fuck I am. But every day I get to choose. And every day I am choosing to live full out, fully, freely, and unapologetically as fuck. To do the best I can for me, which allows that to be the best for my kids. Because I'm not going to control them. I'm going to let them know that they can trust themselves and make choices, and they can play in this life. Because that's what we came here to do. To play and to love. And to experience what it means to be alive. not hate every second what it means to be alive. And if that's where you're at, then you're not living for you. You're living for somebody else. And damn it, start living for you before it's too late. Before the earworms win. Because you deserve to live your life. Fully, freely, and unapologetically as fuck too. But what I need to remind you all at the end of this last message, is to do so. To live fully and freely and unapologetically as fuck does not mean that you walk around harming others. It means that you live your truth lovingly. You kindly choose who you are and live that full out. But you also let others do the same with their life. You do not do harm to theirs because they chose differently. You accept them for who they are. And remember that when you're living full out, it's easier to do so because so are they. And you don't judge and shame other people for doing something that you're also doing. You're not trying to bring them down to your level because you're living fully and freely too. So when you see others do so, it brings you up because so are you. So to that human, if you are watching, thank you. Thank you for reminding me again that I have choice. Reminding me of just how fucking important it is to use our voices for good, for change, for power, but not through condemnation and not through screaming a bunch of obscenities to other people and doing more harm, or trying to force people to understand and agree, but shining a light into just how important this message is to me. Because I see not, and I don't want to say just women, I know how loud it is for women, but men too. You know, all humans, all of us have felt the power of body shaming. We never feel enough. We never feel like we're good enough. And those are earworms that were planted because the adults in our lives have never felt like they're enough. And look at the ads out there that are geared towards hoping that you don't feel like you're enough because you'll buy this next product to make sure that you are enough. It's like, no. I'm done with that game. I'm going to wear what I want, and I'm going to love my body no matter what it looks like. Even if I look like a swamp witch, don't care. Because I love my life, and I love who I am, and I love how I show up, and I'm not perfect. And when I fuck up, because I do on the regular, I hold myself accountable, I acknowledge, and we learn from it and move forward. That's what connection is. Connection is the intimacy behind the repair when we have a deeper conversation, because then you get to understand the other human and what makes them tick, instead of trying to force everyone to agree with the same thing. Because fuck that war, because when you're not at war inside you, you don't create a war on the outside of you. I'm going to leave you with wear the fucking dress, wear the bikini, wear what makes you feel amazing, and remember, there's always going to be somebody who doesn't agree with you. And they have that right. Just like you have the right to think your way, to love your body, to love who you are, to love the clothing that you put on it. Just because they feel some way does not mean that they're right. There is no right and wrong. There's your right and their right. And they don't have to mix. They're just not your humans, and that's okay. That's how we can walk peacefully through this life without making it about everyone agreeing. We can just accept people for who they are and choose if we want to keep them in our lives or not. And not make it a war about trying to make them into who we expect them to be, because expectations kill all ounce of connection. So, much love. Until next time, remember, choose yourself. Everything rearranges from there. Love you, friends.
Flow like rivers, wild and free. Dive into oceans that call to thee. Breathe in the wind, let it carry your name. Unapologetic living is your claim. Let the waves whisper your story bold. Their rhythm eternal, their wisdom old. Echoes of dreams in the sea foam's dance. Find your truth, take the chance. The tide is rising, beckoning your soul. Crash through the doubts, make yourself whole. The world is vast and the water's deep, where courage wakes and fear's asleep. In every droplet you're alive again. With every ripple a new world begins. No need to hold back, embrace the stream. Unapologetic living your life.